The following statement is recorded with the blessing of His Holiness Moran Mar Basilius Marthoma Paulos II, Catholicos of the East.
All over the world, Christians were shocked with scenes from churches in Kerala. Especially earlier this week, we saw footage from Paravam Church, shocking scenes. An elderly bishop standing in rain, prevented by so-called brother bishops using women and children as human shield to from entering that church. And the police of Kerala state was put in a very difficult position. In that state where religious harmony is a rule of thumb, the police never arrests or confronts religious leaders. But here they were shocked to see about 30 bishops of the Syriac Orthodox Church in India using human shield from preventing a legal bishop of the Indian Orthodox Church from entering that church. Police was in such a shock. They were in a standstill position. They finally had to go back to the Kerala High Court and seek their advice on what they should do. Finally, the court looked into the scene and said, arrest and remove everybody. The court used the word squatters in that church. So the police were forced to arrest, including the bishops and the people, and move them. And now that legal action of the police set the Syriac Orthodox Church leaders in Kerala on a violent trailblazer mode. They immediately went to the local bishops of the Indian Malankara Orthodox Church under the leadership of one of their prominent ecumenical leaders, bishop, and attacked that bishop's house. And the acolyte of the local church was beaten up by the goons of the Syriac Orthodox Church and had to be admitted to the local hospital and kept in the intensive care unit for a couple of days. And in the next town, in Kottayam, again the gundas or the underworld kingpins belonging to the Syriac Orthodox Church went and attacked a church official, a lay official of the local church, went to his home and attacked him who was trying to get to bed. And after doing all these things, they are crying and weeping and saying that our rights are being prevented. What happens in India, nobody prevents anybody's rights. The court have been looking into this matter for years. Litigations went all the way to the Apex Court of Union of India. And finally the court said, nobody should be thrown out or anything, but the churches and the properties should be administered according to the constitution of the Indian Church, which shocked, I would use the word, criminal-minded people of the Syriac Orthodox Church in India. Those people, the ordinary believers, the average faithful, they don't have a problem. Some of those people who controls the wealth and the properties of the church do not want to let go of this illegal possession, or as the court uses, squatting on the properties of the church. And when the order came, many people tried to remove the gold and the other precious things from the churches. And in one location, there was even an attempt to demolish a tomb and dug out the remains of a saint under the leadership of a bishop in the church. So even after attempting all these things and trying and beating up and criminally possessing the churches, their cry is always, there is no justice for us. They even coined a phrase justice for Jacobites. I think we should try to rephrase that justice from Jacobites, or justice for Orthodox people who are suffering under the cruel activities of the Jacobites. Here we have to realize certain things. India is a democratic country. India is a secular country where every religion is respected and every religion is allowed to function free. But only when you become criminally minded, go against the rules of the country and the law of the land, you will be held responsible. That is all what is happening now. Yes, Malankara Orthodox Church have been holding peace. Even now, we are a peace-seeking group. We don't want to attack anybody. We want justice in the sense that people of the church should be allowed to function according to the law of the land and according to the constitution of the church. We will not permit anybody trying to manipulate the law of the land or the constitution of the church, which has been upheld by the Supreme Courts and all other courts. And we have to understand almost every church in this world, whether it is Roman Catholic tradition, whether it is Protestant tradition, and all the Orthodox churches function with their rules, with their own constitutions, with their canons. Here, there was dispute about the canons and the laws of the constitution of the Indian church. That is when it went to the court. And the court scrutinized it for years and finally said the constitution of the Indian Orthodox Church or Malankara Orthodox Church, which was originally approved in 1934, is the real constitution of the church, and all the churches, all the Malankara Orthodox churches in India should be administered according to this constitution. When this is implemented, the people who do not want to be accountable to any law, people who have been abusing the wealth of the church, people who have been plundering the church, lose their so-called criminal privileges and behave violently. And this is not acceptable, not according to the law of India, not according to the Christian principles, or according to the even common man's conscience. So this should be made aware to the world. I am also attaching some images from these recent developments that is happening here. People should know what is happening here, and people should be aware that we are not illegal squatters. We are not trying to plunder the churches. We are not trying to prevent the faithful from entering or worshipping in their own churches. As it has been pointed out by His Holiness the Patriarch of Antioch of the Syriac Orthodox Church, yes, we all worship in the centuries-old tradition, and nobody is preventing anybody from worshipping in their own tradition. But we prevent the illegal bishop, uncanonical bishop consecrated under his permission from entering and worshipping in these churches. That is not because we are against those people, but they do not hold an office in the Malankara Orthodox Church because they are trying to illegally usurp the properties and the powers within the church. So we have to understand that compared to many other countries where Orthodox people live, India is a free country where religion is allowed to practice freely, we are allowed to propagate it freely, but we have a strong judiciary, we have a strong government, and it is a secular government, not run by any particular religious fundamentalist groups. There may be difference of opinions in a democratic country, in a civil society. We try to settle our disputes through civil law, civil courts, and according to the law of the land. We don't try to be a mobocratic country. We don't try to let the mob let loose on legally responsible persons. We don't try to confront the police with sticks and stones. We don't try to violate the laws of the land. So that is what is happening in India under the so-called leadership of the, I don't know whether they are Syriac Orthodox Church or Jacobite Orthodox Church, or according to His Holiness the Patriarch, who says that the Syriac Orthodox in India, and I have never seen them themselves using that name. And according to the Supreme Court of India, whatever they are, they have an illegal hierarchy. That is something we have to be aware of. An illegal hierarchy. They are trying to preserve their own illegal rights or illegal possessions and turn violent when the law takes its own course. So be aware of what is happening to us in India. See, Orthodox faithful are really patient. We try to be patient with our brothers. We hope and pray continuously that there is only one church and our separated brethren who are being led astray by the people of the so-called Jacobite church will come back to the mother church, which is the Malangara Orthodox Syrian Church. And we will welcome them with whole heart, with open arms, and nobody will try to throw them out. And there will be, not only they will have burial rights, they will have burial rights with all honors, because the churches belong to the people. All we ask is be responsible about the administrations of the church. Be responsible about the properties of the church. Be accountable for what God has entrusted to you as the church properties. So let us hope and pray that the Jacobite faction or the so-called Syrian Orthodox people of the Malangara will come back and be the responsible faithful of the Malangara Orthodox Church, abiding according to the ancient canons and the constitution of the Malangara Church. God bless us all. Thank you.